Facebookers? Been a while. Um, today will be day. Today will be day 24 at work in a row. Fucking exhausted, and I gotta work with this asshole who's he's a racist, sexist, mama's boy whiner. Doesn't get his own way, and he goes fucking pouty, bitchy. The guy that just quit didn't tell anybody in the kitchen that he was quitting until 2 days before he was leaving, after his notice was up, because he didn't want to listen to that guy bitch for 2 weeks. But he ended up leaving it all on us to listen to this guy bitch for the next 2 weeks, and it's been well over 2 weeks. Anyway, going on about fucking how women are slow, shouldn't be in the kitchens, blah blah blah, Mexicans are this, that, and lazy, and the others, and oh my god, he's just a horrible person. I want to beat him up really, 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 really bad. I know I'm not a big guy or anything, but I've beat up some big guys in my time, and this guy's not a big guy, and he needs it. But God told me I'm not allowed. I almost did. And then I said, no, I'm going to pray about it. And I went home and I prayed about it. And I got a message. It was the obvious one, right? Obviously. Don't beat people up, you asshole. There's a time and a place for everything under the sun. Right? There was a time for war. So, I'll do my best. But God said he's going to deal with it. So I'm just letting him deal with it. I'm going to see how he does it, right? Because I'm very, very interested to see how exactly God's going to deal with this guy. I hope it's quick. That's all I can say. Because punching him out would be really quick. But I've been an asshole too. And I'm sure people have not punched me out before too. So nobody's perfect. Whatever. Um, anyway. It's fucking frustrating. But it's a good test. It's like the woman thing that keeps coming. I still don't know what to do with this girl. Because there's even parts of her that are, I don't know, spiritual. But she's not of God. She's far from God. And that's a big problem. And gotta keep that in mind. I'll fail the test. It's like this guy at work. I can't fail that test. I need to pass them. I need to step above who I once was or whatever. I shaved yesterday, so I look weird, I'm sure. Whatever. It won't seem weird in a few days. If I do videos over and over, you'll get used to seeing my big nose with no hair. Make it look smaller. Anyway, I've been writing topics down like crazy. Everything comes to blessings, right? think I did those topics. I watched a video about fat phobia. Where they're trying to say that you're hurting fat people if you want to lose 10 pounds. That you're a fat phobic or something. Like, to be fat is definitely, there's some DNA things there. 100%. I'm skinny, right? And it definitely, there's some genetics and hormones that keep me to be skinny because I don't work at it. Just that I am, right? So I have to work really hard to keep weight. And I fast a little bit, so I have to really work hard to try to maintain a body weight and maintain some kind of health, and at the same time try to gain weight, and you know what I mean. And be able to spiritually fast, because I think it's important. Anyway, so so there's definitely people out there who have to work harder to maintain a healthy weight. But they're trying to say that it's like okay to be fat or something, like it's something to be proud of, and it's not something that you should see as an issue. And it's definitely an issue. Like, saying that being 60 pounds overweight is fine would be like saying that smoking crack every single day is fine, or whatever. You know, like, yeah, there's people out there who are functioning crackheads. You know what I mean? You might work with one. I'm sure. Well, I've worked with them. I know some, knew some, know some. And they're not high functioning people in society for the most part. Like, they're at a level, but not really, I guess. You know, I haven't met any too high above middle class. I've met some people way above middle class that have done crack a few times in their life or whatever, but they didn't like it, and never did it again. But I've also known people and know people who will do it once a month or twice a month or just on the weekends or whatever. So, um, that's, I'm never going to say that they're healthy. I'm never going to say, oh, look, they're doing it okay, so it's a healthy choice for them. Like me with pot. You just seen me smoking a fucking joint. It's first thing in the morning. That's not healthy for me. That's not good. It's not what I should be doing in life. I should work to be better than that. Um, and until I do, I'm not going to say that it's okay. I'm not going to say and try to convince you that you should either fucking love it or approve of it or whatever. Do it yourself, or at very least think that it's a wonderful, great thing, like cutting my penis off or being overweight. Like, it's not, it's not good. It's not mentally healthy, and it's not physically healthy. Um, it might be your coping mechanism, and maybe it's what you particularly have chose to do in order to get through this world, right? But that doesn't mean that it's healthy. That just means that it's helpful in our situation that we live in, right? If we lived in a different situation, maybe you'd be different. I'd be different. Whatever. Um, in that avenue, I mean, uh, I would assume that just having different parents would change that about you and I in how we were raised. You know, you could have the same biological parents, but if you had gotten adopted by somebody at a young age, you'd be a different person in the way that you think and act on Earth. You might be the same person internally, your soul, but your reasoning processes and your logic center would be affected by your upbringing, right? If I hadn't have been mixing drinks and staying up till 5:30 in the morning doing therapy sessions with grown men when I was 6 and 7 years old, I probably wouldn't be the same person that I am today. How could I be? How could I possibly think the same and be aware of the same things if I hadn't had all those conversations about everything in life? Like, it was always Randy. I partied with everybody, but it was always Randy that I did the therapy with. And he'd be loaded. He probably wouldn't remember half or any of those conversations. But he, he'd tell me about the wife and the kids and his sex life and his anything, everything. I don't know how he talked to a kid like that. Really, right? But he was always fucking fascinated with my answers and with the things that I'd come up with or the way my logic. He was always fascinated with my logic, so he'd apply my logic to his way of thinking, and then he'd go home, like fucking 5:30 in the morning. He'd always be the last. He was one of those guys, and the sun would be coming up, and I was that kid that I couldn't go to bed until everybody was out of the house, and then I was the last one to shut her down. It was just my thing, right? So, anyway, it was my thing when I was young. And then when I got older, and started drinking and partying. Well, not when I first started, I guess, because I'd still stay up. I remember sitting up like by myself with the music, right? It all depended on the party, I guess. If it was a really fun party and people like moving and dancing and doing, I'd be the last one. But if everyone was just sitting around drinking and shooting the shit, I'm the first one to go to bed. Anyway, oh wow. Um, so the yeah, fat phobia, fat phobic, phobia or phobicness. Um, I've always been prejudiced towards fat. I don't know. I tried to like kill it or whatever, and I was like, okay, I can't start not liking people just because they're fat or whatever. Um, but it's only when it comes to like a sexual partner or whatever. So then I thought to myself, uh, what if they're a beautiful soul? I should be able to look past all that, blah blah blah, all that shit, right? Um, and then thought to myself, if I did that, look past all that shit, blah blah blah, that would be a conscious decision based on society, and it wouldn't be something coming from my heart. So I would never be fully happy in that relationship, and I'd always be looking other places. That's what creates a cheater. Um, if you're in a relationship just because you need a relationship, or just because you don't want to be alone, and you know it's not the girl for you, or guy for you, or whatever, number one, you might miss the person who is right for you, because if you're like me and you're monogamous or whatever, you're not cheating, you're in this relationship, so you're going to miss the real one because it's going to go right by you, and you're not going to see it because you're already here, right? And then if you aren't like me and you don't give a shit about cheating, then you're going to be a fucking cheater. And there's way less chance of you getting your actual soulmate, because what if you're with your woman? What if she knows your woman? What if that's how you meted her? Was that you and your woman were supposed to just be friends, but now you're fucking, and now you meet your soulmate, but you're fucking this one, and she's feeling for you, whatever, and now you're gonna fucking cheat on her with her, or try to, and then she's gonna think that you're a fucking douchebag, and you just, there goes your chances with your real woman. Or even if she did it all and all that shit, then there's all these problems and insecurities and fuck ups that you're bringing into that relationship right off the get go. So then you just screwed it up with your soulmate because you were cheating on somebody else in order to meet her. And so she's never going to trust that you're not going to cheat on her, because how would you cheat on her? So why wouldn't you cheat on her? Or whatever, once a cheater's always a cheater and all that shit. So there's always going to be that little mistrust there, no matter what, right? No matter what you say. Um, anyway, I just think that it's so then I just thought that it's not my mental choice of who I fall in love with, but my heart's choice. And my heart's just not going to fall in love with somebody who's fat. It's not prejudice. It's not racist. It's not. It's just. I'm not going to be attracted to them. So there isn't going to be that initial startup moment of me falling in love with them. It's just not going to happen. It's the same. If it did happen, it would be that cliche of a relationship where you're getting into a relationship and already picking out things that you want to change about the other person. Being like, oh, well, I'll fix this and I'll fix that and I'll change this and I'll change that. But they don't want to fucking change. It's none of your fucking business to go changing people and working on people and fucking making them into what you want to be with. Go find what you want to be with. It's out there. But don't find somebody who isn't what you want to be with and try to change them into something, mold them into something different. Fuck off. Go find something different. Now there's change that's going to happen within a relationship as you evolve together. And it's important to evolve together. So communication is very important when you're moving down this path. You want to know that you're moving down that path and talk about it and investigate the things together. If you're looking at something, say, oh, honey, come and look at this. What do you think? And like if you were to watch one of my videos and you're married and then you watch more of them and you start learning a couple different things and you're learning things that are very different from what we're told to know or what we're told to learn, right? And you need to discuss that with your wife immediately and communicate with her, watch the videos together. If she can't stand me or whatever, there's tons of videos out there. Find somebody that you both like. Find something like common ground on this subject's matter, you know what I mean? I know I'm on a broader subject matter than most, and I'm unfiltered in my thinking. But, well, or for the most part, I try not to get kicked off YouTube. Obviously, I have been. They're not kicked off, but have my videos removed because of this, that, the other. But anyway, there's got to be more people than me talking about this. These are the end times that we're going into, and God is going to tell his people. He says that, and he's not a liar, so he's not a man that he should lie. And he's going to send prophets to tell his people what he's preparing to do in the world before he does it. And so there's a huge awakening going on right now, and there's like tons of people all saying the same, basically the same stuff. Different words, different cultures saying it a little different here and there. But really we're all saying and seeing the same thing. All gonna happen. And we're all waking up to it. And so there's a ton of us. Just find somebody that you like. But don't do it alone. If you're not, especially something this huge. Because this is going to change you dramatically. If you're actually going down this path and you're learning any of the things that I talk about, everything leads to God. All the knowledge, all the wisdom, that is God. He is the wisdom. It's so huge. I'm having thoughts go through my head. Like, wisdom is so wonderful. I was reading a book yesterday that was describing wisdom as basically God's soulmate. She was there with God during the creation. She stood beside him. And she did this and she did that. And it talked about wisdom. So fucking beautiful. So beautiful. Book of Jasher. Wonderful book. I suggest all of you read it. Twice. All 6 of you. Very chilly this morning. It's been roaring hot. Now it's cold. Oh my goodness. I'm getting way off of fat phobia, I think. But not really, because it's still kind of that subject where you can't be in a relationship. You can be, I guess, but you have to walk together. And you have to have like a carnal attraction of some sort to your spouse. There has to be that, like, when you look at them, you got to see something that fires you up inside and makes you have that passion, or you want to fucking write a poem or draw a picture or fucking throw her down onto the bed right there, or whatever the case is. Dance with her, fucking something. The mental connection's got to be there even greater. That's way more important. But I mean, there has to be both, or there's going to be problems. So, kind of a big part of the fat phobic thing, where I've always seen as fat, and I've always been grossed out by it. Especially when I was younger. It was really, really, like, if I was ever, like, to hate a people, it was fat people. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't hate any race of people. I'm actually super attracted to, like, Asians and black people and stuff like that. I think they're beautiful. But, and you know, sexism and all those other isms. It was just, yeah, no, I'm not into any of that. But fat people, especially like huge fat people, it just grossed me out. I don't know, it's just me. I couldn't help it. It wasn't so. I tried to change the way I think, and I processed it as a young man. Like, I can remember being 13, 14, you know what I mean? I lost my virginity when I was like 13, so I was probably, 14, 15 by the time I was thinking about that. And I had a buddy who, fat girls need loving too, or whatever. He'd screw anybody, everybody. It was his thing. He just asked every girl he met, "You want to go screw or whatever?" Fucking, he gets slapped in the head a lot of times, but he slept with hundreds of girls. And anyway, I just couldn't wrap my head around that. I did a lot of thinking about it. I do a lot of thinking about every subject, as you can tell. Um, though I should have went to the prom with Roberta when she asked me. It wasn't my prom, it was her prom. Or cabaret or something. Something important to her. And she was a really nice person. But at the same time, you don't want to lead somebody on and let them think that there might be something there when there isn't something there, that then you got to deal with, like breaking their heart or hurting them. And I don't want to hurt anybody ever. I've never ever wanted to hurt people. So, well, guy at work, I'd like to hurt him, but it wouldn't feel good afterwards. That's just my shadow rage coming in and wanting to fucking take over and do stupid things. Oh, excuse me, that in the end aren't going to make me feel any better. They're going to make me feel worse. I've punched people before, and it's just explosive rage. You think that it's going to feel better, but it doesn't. And now you've hurt somebody that you got to look at and talk to, or what, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's never. And even in the art of war, Samsung says to a man is not considered great for winning 100 battles with his sword. A man is considered great when he wins 100 battles without ever drawing his sword. So if you can win 100 battles with your brain, you're a greater man than the man who won with his sword. Because you didn't put yourself at risk for a lot of reasons. Think it through. Think the logic through on it.